Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode with Spendless Academy, and today I'm very pleased to have one of my clients as well as my friends who's an expert when it comes to social media and digital marketing. She is Mimi Marlina and she's based right out of Singapore. Now a little bit about Mimi, I put up her LinkedIn profile so that you can personally get connected with her as well. She is a content strategist with a demonstrated history of working in the real estate industry, skilled in web content writing, Instagram marketing, Facebook marketing and video editing. So she's currently helping a lot of real estate agents, particularly the ones in Singapore, to raise their brands through content writing and distributions. And she's worked with really big clients in the real estate industry as well as financial and insurance consultants. So to find out more about her thoughts on digital marketing and some tips that she's giving away, watch the rest of the video and hopefully it will add value to you while you're trying to strategize your social media and digital marketing for your business.
I'm going to do a short introduction about her before we start. And the reason that all of you are joining us today is because you want to find out more about how to stand out in a saturated market, especially in the digital space. Now, as you know that our lives has transformed and evolved, that everything we do is related to digital technology. So whether we communicate with people, sell, whatever we do every day, we're trying to book a taxi, we're trying to order food, whatever it is, our world has revolved around technology. And the more we want to stand out becomes harder. But there are definitely tips from Mimi that we can explore today on how we can do better when it comes to standing out. So I'm going to read a little bit about introduction about who Mimi is, and feel free to connect with her on LinkedIn after this session. So Mimi is a content strategist with a demonstrated history of working in the real estate industry. She's skilled in web content writing, Instagram marketing, Facebook marketing, and video editing. So she's currently helping real estate agents to raise their brands through content writing and distributions. And clients work with real estate advisors and financial consultants. Okay, so Mimi, without further ado, can you tell us a little bit more about your company and what you do for your clients?
Okay, hello everybody. So basically, my name is Mimi. So what I've been doing in terms of content creation is I help realtors to actually build their infographics, their content writing, whatever that concerns with designing, or video making when they want to churn out their information or knowledge base to their consumer, they will go through me. So I'm more to the outbound marketing where I produce their persona and personal social selling. So that's where I come in lah. My background as a content strategist for realtors.
I see. So when we are starting out in the online business, okay, small and medium business usually have a lot of problems. Okay, they have a problem about getting through to their potential customer, getting leads on social media. Or they don't know how to, because it's just so loud and so much content, so saturated. So that's what we're here today.
Exactly.
So we want to know, how can we stand out in a saturated niche market?
Okay, so first of all, let's go back to how I started and then how I get into realtors as niche as possible. Okay, when I started wanting to be on the branding space in the online world, right, I started to ask questions first. Like, okay, let's say if you want to start something online, the first thing first you need to ask, when let's say if your profile were to be on Wikipedia or something, what do people want to know you for? Is it you must be very specific in your knowledge and your skills to the extent that the kind of audience that you want to attract, okay, so I will only talk to this specific audience. Then after that, you do your market research and ask, so how do you guys perceive me as a content creator? And then you churn out and produce this kind of content towards this specific audience and build a services or business around it so you can get paid clients. That's how I look at it. So at that point of time when I started my journey, right, I noticed that my audience and the video that I produce are more appealing to my kind of network, which is the realtors. I was exposed to a lot of realtors at that point of time. So I started to do so-called freelancing in exchange for testimonial and reviews. And when my work started to spread among the realtors, they started to say, oh, Mimi is the video girl, or the one that can, you know, churn out stories for you for your social media. So they start to ask me a lot of questions. When they start to ask me a lot of questions, that's when I see, oh, okay, there's a need and there's a services around that audience. So I started to think critically, how can I provide the services for realtors alone at that moment. So when I start to produce my content, is my audience, when I talk, when I produce the videos, when I produce the infographic, is only for my realtors friends. But technically over the months and over the years, it will definitely churn out to other larger groups, because it is applicable to their certain industry. But I know every industry will have their certain gaps or certain loopholes that need to be what do you call that? Uh, to put and build on. And in terms of content, there's a lot of things that you can put and strategize. And social media is something to do with strategizing. So in every industry, there's always ways for you to strategize and put that in framework and places where they can examine, okay, so this is my content, and what are the kind of information I want to put it to my consumer so that they can turn into my client. Before that, what are the kind of trust that they want to, you know, get to know about me first. So that's how I started like in my journey.
So now that you're a founder of a small SME, a small business growing an agency that you run, we
Right.
have a question with regards to running a business. Do you think that a small growing business, should focus on a niche market first and then maybe diversify, or they should start marketing straight away to the masses first and then find a niche?
Okay, it depends on where you are now, where you are at right now. If let's say you are, okay, give me an example, like, okay, let's say you're a home business who are doing maybe makeup, like what you did, right?
Yep.
So in the first place, before you start the makeup business, do you have like the audience that is in the makeup space?
Now, for example,
You
okay,
need to
I'm
ask
going
that
to
question first.
okay, Mimi, like give an example. For example, makeup, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so makeup, there's different types of makeup. So could be very
Correct.
extremely stage shows makeup. There could be bridal makeup, and there could be ordinary day-to-day
Right.
makeup. So I can either start marketing to everybody, mass public. Okay, so my price will, like a lot of off service offering different pricing because I cover everything. Or do you think that I should start with a particular niche? Because let's say if I focus only on bridal, okay, which is the high paying invoices, then I might most likely close leads faster. So we want to know that from your experience, which one would close leads and monetize faster? Would it be focusing on a certain niche and focus on one or two service offering? Or should we just attract the masses and then see and offer everything?
Okay, that's a very interesting question, because when I started, I know that if I spoke to specific audience, then I get paid clients. That's what I learned, and that's what I see successful people are doing, because they don't just talk to anyone. If let's say you talk to everybody, you won't actually attract anybody. That's the fundamentals lah. If you want to start in any online business, you need to go down and figure out who are you as a person. But before, okay, even figuring out what are the niche that you want to get into, first you question yourself, how do people perceive you, and what are the audience right now in your online space that you have. If let's say you want to talk about makeup, and then your audience right now are not the makeup people, so you need to do yourself a favor and start to network with people around the makeup industry. And like you said, even makeup, there is more niches, bridal, some, more extravagant kind of makeup, or just, simple kind of YouTubers, daily makeup or vlog hacks. So you need to understand, okay, okay, first of all, you put yourself in the big blue ocean. And then in the big blue ocean, there's other kind of the section, the kind of fish that you want to go into. And then after you go into deeper, then you'll understand, okay, these are the people that I want to associate myself with. These are the kind of audience that I want to attract with my content. So you start to network with these kind of people, and then you start to churn out this kind of information. And how you turn it into a client is when you start to, you know, build your relationship, not just on your content basis, but you also have to start engaging in and be interested in their life. That's one thing that I learned because I
Definitely.
started to, you know, comment.
Anybody who have any questions, please feel free to type them. Later on, I will ask Mimi. So what Mimi is trying to tell us that I think sometimes if we explore our circle, that we want to specialize in something like Mimi, you go into real estate because that's already your current circle, right? I'm sure you can do social
Correct.
media marketing for many industries, but you choose to focus on financial consultants and
Yes.
real estate for
Yeah.
because you're already in that network for years. So it's easy for you to convert and monetize because then that way
Yeah.
people remember you as a real estate specialist. So within the real estate world, they keep on talking about you as a specialist in the area, right? So instead of like if you are just a generic social media marketer, nobody knows whether you specialize in F&B business or real estate
Yeah. Correct.
and stuff like that. So
Correct.
you
Correct.
need to go there. So the question is, if you want to stay niche, okay, as niche as possible. Right now, you are staying niche to the real estate agent. You are trying to make yourself constantly appealing online to them. What are some of the things we need to look out for? Is it the hashtag? Is it the keywords in our content? Is it the, I don't know, the kind of video plot that we want to stay focused to our niche to make sure that we don't, attract unnecessary different circle of people. So what should we look out for when we produce content to stay niche?
Okay, I think I put it into three important things. First of all, you need to define your branding first. Like Lisa, for example, her branding is highly associated with uh, s- uh, e-commerce and spendless, meaning something to do with cosmetic, right? That's how I known you for. So when you before you even start to the niche, you need to define what kind of branding that people can remember you first. And then when you start to build the content around that, okay, no doubt, all the keyword research you need to do. Hashtag is very subjective. It depends on which kind of platform you're going into. If you're talking about LinkedIn, then hashtag is very important. If you're talking about Instagram, maybe for now it might not be so widely used like maybe 3 years or 4 years back. But if let's say you want to get into a specific niche, right? Okay, the first of all, the three things that I always go into is first, define your brand first. So that people, even if you're in a specific niche, people can associate you with something with that niche market. And secondly, you must have like a, what do you call that, name tag, like okay, for me, people will always remember me as Lots of Love Mimi, even though it's Raise Up Your Brand. Whatever it is, people associate with Lots of Love Mimi because I always end my post and my story with Lots of Love Mimi, so people remember that. So you need to have something like a okay, I wouldn't say slogan, but
Tagline.
something that yeah, like a tagline that people can remember you, you know. And then the third thing would be colors. There's always a specific color palette that people will always remember. Like for example, McDonald's. When I always think about McDonald's, I will always remember red, yellow. You know, red, yellow is something to do with McDonald's. And then if it's Adidas, it's always the white color that brings a little bit of purity for me to come to Adidas shop whenever I want to search for some sports apparel. So let's say you want to start something, start with these three things first. Define what you are in that specific niche. Second is the slogan that people are going to associate you with. And third is your color palette. Because that's the energy and the vibes that you want to people to remember you. That's three things that I fall back into if you want to go into a specific thing that you want people to remember you. Okay, sorry, I keep repeating myself. Sorry, I'm
No,
a
no,
bit
I
nervous.
get it. So the three things are very important because you're talking about visual medium. So people see the color palette like Starbucks, they will instantly familiarize with you. And then once they know what you represent, what your brand is about, what is your service offering, then it's also easier for people to remember you for a service. But the question is, right, if somebody run a business, okay, and trying to attract a niche market, where does personal brand important? Is personal branding important? Which means does the founder need to appear in order to make the relationship to the niche market even better to monetize? Or are you saying that some of your clients are okay without even showing their face, which means no personal branding intervention, just corporate branding, following your 3 tips is enough? So your advice on the influence of personal branding content strategy.
Okay. If you're talking about a business like a founder, like for example, an agency. Okay, last time, maybe 5 years back, if the founder doesn't show up the face and maybe just the logo or the information, it might work. But right now, because online space is very noisy, in my opinion, from my experience, people or founders that show up their face, like for example, Nas company, he always showed up his face, 1 minute video. People remember him as the Nas company. So that's one thing for sure. I think people realize because human connection, they require like somehow of face intervention to associate you with a certain company. If let's say you are hiding behind a logo, it's quite hard unless that company of you will show different people inside the role of the company. For example, the great example that I could think of would be SGAG. Their content are mainly around their people. So when they show, even though it's not the personal branding of their company, but the branding is always shown on its people or the different creators that they have. The Xiaoming, and then they have that Tudong girl, the hijabis girl, and then they have this another girl who always do workout on SGAG. So they show different people in their company to show their personal branding as a whole, and people remember them as SGAG. So yeah, I have a question. Should I answer?
Yes, I'll choose the answer question for you. So basically, just to summarize, I agree with you that sometimes putting a person face, it doesn't matter whether as an individual employee, like as GET, or as a founder of the business, in case you don't have many employees. So I guess when you put a face, it sets a different kind of trusting relationship compared to just logo, and nice branding, I guess. So personal branding.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say that even if let's say you don't put your face.
Yeah.
Okay. There is cases where companies, they don't show up their face, but it works for them. For example, recently I followed this content creator called Neville. The only media, okay, their distribution are on podcasts, on writing blogs, Twitter account. They started being blown up on Twitter. But what I understand is from their branding, right? They don't show. We don't know who's this naval guy is, but his wisdom and his knowledge was shared on Twitter by short Twitter tweets. So the entire frame of that naval guy on his podcast is through this cartoon. So people remember this cartoon as the personal branding. So it's either you put a character which can surface or like, hemisphere like what you are as a real person. If you're really scared to show your face, put a cartoon. I think it might work.
I also realized
some
people, they want to share their travel blog. Mimi, they put, instead of their pictures in these places, they put pictures of teddy bear. So they have a teddy bear.
Yes, correct.
So
a character,
a cute character, and people follow because obviously they think as if the bear is traveling. But it's so cool. Some people do even Instagram pages for their dog. Sometimes they promote like cat stuff.
Cats also.
So it doesn't have
cats also.
Nice graphic also lah. But I guess it helps with character and telling a story, right? As a content.
Yes, correct.
Okay, maybe we're gonna answer.
So it must be character. Can.
Okay, I choose the question for you first. So the first question is from Ismadi under the Q&A section. So, hi Mimi, I realize it is very hard for me as a content creator when my client doesn't know what they want. So my question is, how you help your client to figure out the things that they want to highlight in their content?
I understand. I have been facing this challenge the same way. Okay, so usually if my client don't know what they want, I will ask them questions until to the point that they will think for themselves like, oh, okay, I need to realize this. Then I can give Mimi the answer so that Mimi can create a certain content for me. So I will go like, okay, what do your client right now, let's say, I don't know what you do, Ismaili, in your business, your clientele profile. So what I would say is that for me, right, like my realtors, most of the time, like some of the realtors that come to me, like, Mimi, I want to do branding and stuff like that. Then I will ask you, okay, so now you're a realtor. So what kind of realtor are you specializing in? Is it like asset progression, or are you doing more to the HDB or the 55 club where they only sell 55 and above? So what are you good at? How are your client right now? Whatever sales that you come in, people in your demographic perceive you as. Whenever they think about your name, like for example, Ismadi, you can ask your client, like if let's say you were to ask them, right, what does your client remember you as? So, and then after that, question them again. So, from your experience, the kind of work that you have done and figure out, in your whatever sales that you've been doing, what do they always remember you as? And then after that, you create around it and ask them deeper questions, because I need to get into specific, like, Ismani, what are the kind of client are you dealing with, so that I can help you in this case study.
So I guess, for example, right, if a client is able to answer that they want to be portrayed as a certain image, an impression they want to leave behind in their network. Let's say they want to be Mimi, I want to be remembered as somebody approachable, friendly, and thoughtful. So, in that regards, then I guess as a content creator, you need to be able to help them create content or stories or client testimonials that exactly display their intended impression for their people to remind them. It's not just
insurance agent.
Insurance agent, yes. So
Nice.
how do you
Okay,
help
insurance agent
good content when they don't even know what to do?
Okay, great. Insurance agent is also one of my clientele profiles. So what I did was recently, I got this client that he is specifically in the niche of investment only, because insurance, when you talk about insurance policy, right, it's very huge. So okay, when your agent started to want to work with you, right, what do they actually even in their policy that they're trying to sell, what's the specific currently that the client will always be attracted to them? You ask this first, and then after that you look at their social media. You see the kind of friends that commented on their social media, right? Are they the client, more to the client kind of audience, or is just friends who just like to try to mimic or make some funny comments or certain things that your client posts? So you need to take a look at their profile as well and see how they talk on their social media as well, because it matters how they engage with their audience. Then you can reassure them and highlight to them, okay, these are the kind of foundation that you are lacking of in your content, so I think you need to do this more to attract this kind of audience so that they can turn into your paid clients. Because I did that to my insurance agent and it works. Does that help?
Yep, I summarized it for him as well in written content. So I think it helps. I really like the idea that you are encouraging content creator to be aware by studying the behavior, what is the audience talking about on his current network, right? That's the most important thing. You need to know what's the conversation that's going on so that you can recommend to your client, hey, I think based on the reactions of your network, they like to talk about a certain topic, of the many things you specialize, why don't we focus more on that? Because clearly the demand already exists within this network you currently have attracted. Like, social media marketing, if your crowd is 80% real estate agents, what would you talk about helping a restaurant, right? You will most likely be
exactly.
because 80% is already talking about properties, marketing and stuff like that. So it's very good advice. And maybe another question from Namira is in the chat box though. So she says a lot of new brands are using minimalistic colors, okay, simple colors, because it's the trend. Will using bold colors make you look out of place, or instead entice customer better? Bold or minimalist? Your choice. Your advice.
It depends on the product and services that you are selling. Again, it really defines. Okay, here's the thing: you don't follow trend just for the sake of trend. You follow trend, okay, you follow something that works, yes, correct. But at the end of the day, can you follow that minimalistic colors long term? If you can't, then why do you follow that? But if let's say you can go on bold colors and you're the kind of person who always wear bold colors, like for example, I like to be colorful. So I cannot stick to minimalistic colors on my social media because I know in long term I cannot do it. You know, so you need to ask yourself, if let's say you were to take bold colors, can you do it long term? 1 year, 2 years. If you can do that, go ahead. But if you can do minimalistic colors for 3 years and so on and so forth, even 6 months, you experiment it yourself. 6 months, can you do it? If you can, then go ahead. Doesn't mean it's a trend, it's a long-term strategy. It doesn't mean it works now. Yeah.
Maybe I agree with you. It's like the clothes we wear, right? I mean, if other people are, let's say, for example, are used to wearing, bell-bottom jeans, but if that's not you, that's just not you. And you cannot see yourself wearing it despite the trend because that's just not your personality. And you are right, because it's after 6 months, if you cannot resonate with the colors you use as your brand, because that's not what you originally represent, it's hard to follow through. Then you keep on changing your brand color, which is more disruptive, right? Like for me, unlike Mimi, she's colorful, okay? Like me, 80% of my closet is, is black or gray. So my colors are more subtle, but by choice, because I'm more comfortable that way. If I use Mimi branding, which is orange, for my logo, I feel out of place, then I won't be able to sell my brand. I pass my name card. I'm a little bit. That's not really my color, but I feel like a bit embarrassed.
Maybe in the process of changing my logo again or colors again, then you don't like it and then you change again. Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
but
so
in terms of colors, Mimi, how many colors do you suggest that forms a corporate concept? Should we use like 5 colors at one time whenever we do? Or should we focus on 3 colors, or should we use 2 colors? What's your focus? If you want, how many colors can we use? Should we use?
In my opinion, right? In my opinion, from all the successful brand that I've seen, they keep into a maximum at most 3. Because if it's more than 3, it's too disoriented, and the energy that you are trying to attract is a bit, I don't know, a bit unorganized.
Yep.
In my opinion, it's something to do with also your mission statement and the mission and the what do you call that, mission and your vision of your branding. If let's say it falls into places you already know and the purpose of you creating a certain brand, certain company, with the 3 colors, it just falls in. If it's more than 3 colors, I think you need to define. Later people will ask, okay, so what does these blue lines represent in your whole entire white, red, yellow logo? So you must define, like even Singapore flag, you see, there is a specific meaning behind the white color, the red color, the crest, the stars. So you need to understand, it's not just you create the logo and then this blue line because it's nice, then I put there. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think there must be a meaning to it.
The logo is a permanent representation of you, because remember, your content can change, your service offerings can change, your pricing can change, your office can change, but your logo is what permanently defines you. So the other thing, Mimi, a very interesting question that I think they have the question, but they don't asking it. So I asked you. The question is about money, okay? Because content is, people say, alamak, I have to boost, or can I choose not to boost? But will I get results if I don't boost money? And if I boost money, what's the budget that's good enough that I can afford, that can bring some good results? So the question is, do you encourage boosting, especially for those on a budget, or is there a way we can hack around that we can get results without boosting?
Boosting on Instagram. Okay, if you're talking about boosting on Instagram, I don't recommend boosting on Facebook page, because Facebook page is just paid ads. Anything got to do with Facebook page is just trying to do you paid ads. So if you don't do paid ads, you can get the audience unless your content is very good. For Instagram, for example, okay, from my personal experience, what I did was, before I even boost, I make sure the kind of keyword and headlines that I use for even videos is the one that really targeted to the audience likings. once I for sure know that this content works, then I boost. And how you're gonna find which headline works? There's always ways. One of the ways that I use, Uber Suggest by Neil Patel. If you go in depth into your industry, you will know what kind of like headline will work for that specific audience, and then you create it around the headline that you use, and after that you see if this content works for this headline, and you test about maybe 3 to 4 headlines, and if among that 4, 2 of it works wonders and got a lot of engagement, then you start to boost. If you start to boost everything, it's like, the ROI won't come now. In my opinion, I don't want you to boost for the sake of just getting exposure, but there's no paid clients.
So I think it makes sense.
You know what I mean?
It's trial and error. You put it all out there. Let's say you create content to promote an event, for example. You have 5 different type of content. You write differently, so you put it out there. And as soon as you see some small engagement, because it's so organic in network, if you see that, okay, out of 5, 2 actually brings back 20 likes, and 3 bring back 2 likes. So you know that the 20 likes naturally captures people's attention for good reason, and that's why
correct.
you put some money, and then it also follows your budget, of course. I think generally, if you have a lot, if you're targeting for high volume of revenue, I guess you can afford to put a little bit more marketing investment. But if let's say you're targeting small revenue, then I guess it should be reasonable to your budget. People shouldn't go over their budget, because marketing, if you accidentally boost the wrong one, because you can also make mistake, right? If you boost the wrong kind of content, and it brings you nothing, because it doesn't guarantee.
It plays around your algorithm as well.
Yep. So
and it will backfire you.
Yep.
Because if let's say the audience that you bring inside the boost ads attract wrong kind of audience, and they all like your video, but it's not the audience that you want to get into paid clients, the algorithm thinks this is your audience, and then the next time you do paid ads, it's gonna backfire you back. So you better know what kind of audience you want to attract first, and try to keep a minimal of, usually I will keep 6 words for one headline.
Oh, 6 words for one headline. So how often should we post, as from your experience? How often should we post? Every day, every 2 days, to keep our network lingering? Okay, let's say we already gather our network. How to keep them engaged? Like, how often should we appear and say something?
In my opinion, for normal story, for normal posts, meaning feeds like Instagram feeds or Facebook posts, you can keep into a minimum of 3 to 4 lah. But I wouldn't say this is like a black and white right kind of thing. Okay, it really depends. You have to start first like for 3 months and see. But I would say this would be sufficient, 3 to 4 posts at least minimally. If you do one post, per week. If let's say you do 1 or 2 posts, it might get pull down, because other content always post first. And I would say Instagram and Facebook story, Instagram story and Facebook story is the most engagement that you ever get from your targeted audience. If you can do Instagram and Instagram story and Facebook story every day, try to, because that's the most rawest, the most authenticness you can get, without any editing, without any a lot of thinking of the back end that you need to put time and energy to. You just say what's at that point of time, or you see what you think at that point of time, and then after 24 hours it's gone. And you know the kind of people that is going to look at the story, because they're going to come back and come back again and come back again. There you are. They said, oh, these are the people that are interested in my story. So these are the kind of things that I should show more. But having said that, I will always go into these 3 metrics. Okay, my fallback is always 3 lah. I like to keep it into 3, because in Instagram story I will go to the KCR method, where you will always need, before you post something, right, you always need to think what are the key takeaways that your audience going to get about it, even from the stories. I know sometimes it's random, it's okay, but if you every time you post your Instagram story or Facebook story random, people will like, okay, this person is no value to my content. Yeah, like she's all over the place, I shouldn't like follow, But if let's say there is a key, there is a specific key takeaway from the story, I like to post something to do with financial education, marketing, and my interests. So they will expect these three things. If let's say suddenly I talk about my husband or I talk about other things not related, right? They will suddenly get confused and maybe I got unfollowed. So that's how I see the key takeaways. And then secondly is the key takeaway KCR. C would be KCR, the relatability. Okay, R is relatability. Relatability mean C is call to action, meaning whatever you post, yes, as a content creator is great. I understand a lot of people like to post content sometimes every day. But if let's say you don't put your offers, it also backfire you because sales is not coming in. So you need to specify your offer, the call to action, like because your audience, right, honestly speaking, right, they like to watch you but they don't know what to do. You must tell them what to do in order to get your services. Or these are the things that I help you with. So how can you use my services? By going into my bio, there is a link for you to register my webinar. Go and sign up there. You need to tell your audience. They really need to know from A to Z. You need to direct them. So after you do key takeaways, make sure you have a call to action. Once a while, you do this offer on your social media. Then the last part would be, yes, some of your audience might not also be able to afford whatever services that you want to sell. But don't worry, they might be your client in the future. So whatever stories or posts that you post, make sure it come back to them that they can relate to and use your information. Because if they can use your information and they share, right, it's a free branding for you. It's really free branding. They mention you, it's free branding, free exposure to their audience. So you make sure the kind of things that you share, right, is something that other people can share. Other people can take the key takeaways and then they share it for you. So I noticed like this for insurance agent, for example, they always have this thing around their network where, okay, if I'm a 1 million MDRT achiever, you know, all those accolades that they have, right? They always speak in their language, right? But their clients doesn't understand what is MDRT or that kind of thing, you know, all the different acronyms that they have, even for real estate. So they need to define or say the significance of the awards that they are getting so that the audience can relate. Oh, okay, no wonder this realtor is always top producer. No wonder can sell within 2 days, 1 week, get one viewing also can get close client, because now I understand why he always posts he's a top producer, because being a top producer means he can help me sell the house within 1 week or 1 month fast. It's the same thing. So it's not just saying, oh, I'm a top producer. You need to tell your clients this, I'm a top producer. So what if you're a top producer? You need to make sure your audience understand the significance of being a top producer. Then they can relate to you. Then next time, if they are your client, they can share that video for you for free branding, free advertisement. In my opinion, these are the three things.
So if somebody, you want to encourage them to share value, normally people would like to share your content if, of course, it also give value to their network, so increasing your brand awareness. So my last question is, how sensitive is the showcase of pricing? So do you recommend that, especially if you want people to call to action, okay, put online contact form, put website, do you recommend that people use pricing in their content, or should they say from a certain price, which is their lowest price, or should they straight away stay their highest price? What's your recommendation about sensitiveness of price tag?
If it's a product, I think you can put the price. But if services, I don't think putting a specific price bluntly would be helpful. Okay, there's two different things. If it's product, it's okay to put the price. But if it's a services, you must be dripping your price. Meaning, you don't just bluntly say, okay, I charge you 3K per month. Okay, you don't. That's just marketing techniques. If you put 3K, then that's it. Nobody gonna listen to you. Okay,
Yeah,
marketers.
some people get turned off, right? Because it's just, oh my god, so expensive. Maybe all her services is expensive.
Yeah,
I unfollow her so that I don't have to be depressed watching her price that I cannot afford.
yeah, exactly. Marketing is all about dripping your prices. Meaning, okay, usually what marketers like to do, they drip like, okay, my strategy, content, calendar that you can take from whatever leads, this PDF, okay, you get it for free. But if let's say you want to know more to my call-up services, 1 hour coaching services, I charge you $50 per hour, for example lah. But you don't say that $50 on your first offer. The first offer you say is the free PDF, not the $50. The second drip would be the $50 call. And then the third drip is where, oh, okay, my services is this. My retainer basis is on this 3K monthly package. So these are this one is the more serious one. The more, okay, so you drip already. The first one, you try to funnel those you think will go into your $50 services. And then after that, from this $50, obviously out of like maybe 10, maybe 3 or 2 might be the very serious one that want to take up to your 3K retainer. So then you find out again that 3K. Because if you straight away put 3K at the front, I don't think you will get any clients, you know.
No matter how much you boost, you might not get any leads because
Yeah.
the price already turned off people. So that's a sales tip, guys. It's not just about content strategy, but also a sales tip that if you're doing service, because service really is a case-to-case basis, because different people require different kind of level and depth of services. So as far as you want is to make it as personalized to them, so it fits their expectation. Okay, and then calculate equivalent to your time. So, for example, what she's recommending is that if you put something that's either free or with very small price tag, you boost it, you reach a wider pool of audience of interest. From there, you work out that the relationship, once you have a relationship with them because you service them either for free or $50, you can work out about their exact problems that you can solve, come up with a package that fits their business and offer the right pricing. And then they also already by then build some relationship and trust in you. So after investing $50, you'll be more open. Of course, not all that sign up $50 will sign up, right, with the expensive one, but you will get 1 or 2 tangible leads that will move forward to the next lead, as you say, because they think that it will benefit them. They work it out themselves. But you sell it discreetly, right? That's what you're trying to say. The 3K package is a discrete sale, but not in the open public sale. Interesting. Okay, Mimi.
I like what you highlight.
Yep.
Okay. No, I like what you highlight when you say it is catered to specific of their requirement. You can't just put the price like that.
Exactly. If you don't know them, you cannot put a generic, hey, this is my price, 3,000, this is what I do for you. You don't know yet the profile of your client. So you need to entice them with something cheaper for the opportunity of you may not be rich charging $50, but what you got was you got a time with them that you can now explore their deeper problems, which they'll be more open to tell you because they just invested $50. And that's when you smartly put together a solution that you can best fit their problem to solve it. Otherwise, expensive things, I definitely agree that you really cannot just put it out there. It doesn't matter if you boost $1,000 per month, you still won't get leads because the amount, the dollar sign is just too sensitive to go in the public market. And then people create the impression of you, oh, Mimi's too expensive, you know, like I would not recommend her and stuff like that. Then it's also backfire.
The level of understanding of your client also as well. You know, some people their level of understanding is just, oh, okay, 3K, yeah lah, 3K is cheap, what, for this? You know, some people 3K, what 3K? 3K cover what?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
So it depends.
So it really depends. Okay, Mimi, because we have only a few minutes left, so we are going to end up the business questions, but we want to get to know you in person better. So I have some personal questions to ask you, which we call the rapid fire round. Nothing to do with business, but you're just going to tell us a little bit more about you. And for guys, if you want to connect with her, she's on LinkedIn. So you can find her later on. I will share with you her credentials. So Mimi, my first question. If you are a new addition in a crayon box, what color would you be and why?
Crayon box.
Yeah.
I would choose...
What color represent you and why?
One color, right?
One color that best represent and why?
I would choose red. Why? Because anything to be associated with myself, I love to put red first. I don't know, red. Red is something assertive, confidence, in my opinion. So I like red.
Red is also the color of love. So if you have a lot of compassion, empathy, and heart and care for your clients, red is a very nice color. Okay, next question. 3 words to describe yourself.
3 words. Free. Okay, no. Free spirit. That's 2 words already. Another one would be open-mindedness. Would they consider 3 words?
Acceptable.
Words.
Acceptable. Okay. Next question. What is your long life dream?
Long life dream. Let me think. My long life dream is quite simple. I just want to be happy and everybody to be happy with their life. To me, my long life dream is just be happy.
It
happy
sounds
and
simple,
content.
right? But it's actually not, especially if you want the whole society to be happy. I mean, with the social unrest, COVID-19 especially now, it's really something very hard to achieve for everybody at the same time. But I guess we can all work on ourselves, on how we can stay happy as an individual so we can spread happiness, around us. Okay, Mimi, this is a tricky question. What would you say, what piece of advice would you give to your ex-boss? We will not tell him, okay? We will not tell him. What piece of advice to give your ex-boss?
Be consistent on his video. He's always about like, I need to make the next video, and then do one video and then stop, and then do one video and then stop, and then get the next idea, then okay. Then after that, don't want to do video anymore.
Okay, and last question. What are the one thing that you would change about yourself?
About myself, I think what I need to change is the habit of thinking that everybody can take in on my opinion or my way of looking at life, because I can't make everybody think like me, you see. Everybody is different. So I think that is something that I need to change, because I have a little bit of patience when it comes to try to make somebody understand me. As a person who have a very curious mind.
No, I totally agree with you. It is challenging where two people of different perspective, differentiating opinion, and there's always a slight debate about who's right or whose perspective is different. And it's hard to understand people as well if they choose not to understand our perspective. Understanding perspective is a challenge we all have to learn every day. But Mimi, thank you so much. Guys, this is recorded, so if we get it edited, we will showcase it on our YouTube another day and we'll let you know. But Mimi, thank you so much for your time. It's been a great 1 hour with you. And please connect with Mimi on LinkedIn. Mimi, any last words before we end off?
Okay, my last word would be just be open-minded when it comes to, even in business. There's always something to learn from everybody you meet. And if, let's say, any business or partnership that you start with doesn't work out with anybody in your past, try to look back. Maybe this is a sign for you, or a learning journey for you to, take away from that experience. It's not everything is gloomy. So and be open-minded.
Thank you so much. Bye, everybody. Thank you, Mimi. Bye.
Thank you, Lisa. Bye-bye.
I hope you have enjoyed the in-depth discussion with an expert that we featured this week. More about the trainer in the description box below. At the same time as well, be sure to tune in to spendlessacademy.com to access hundreds of live webinars and globally connect to experts all over the world. All the best with your lifelong learning. Until then, we'll see you at the next video.